at the SLP's Conference of Delegates in Vieux-Fort, Prime Minister Philippe J. Pierre made a desperate attempt to rewrite history.
You will remember that the United Workers' Party only gave COVID support to NIC contributors.
This claim is absolutely false. The truth? In July 2020, under the UWP administration, 5,000 St. Lucians who were non-contributors of NIC received $500 per month for 3 months to help them survive the pandemic. Prime Minister Pierre knows the facts, yet he chose to lie to the nation. Why? To mislead and divide. St. Lucia deserves a leader who values integrity, one who speaks the truth, not one who tries to twist it. Pierre, pardon. We need real leadership, not deception.
At Great Vision Designs, we value our customers and provide cutting-edge customer service. Great Vision Designs specializes in television broadcasting and live streaming of funerals, sports events, weddings, meetings, shows, and more. Call us today at 722-6542 or 726-9914 or follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Great Vision Designs, coverage you can count on.
It's a joyous celebration like a birthday, anniversary, wedding, or graduation, or a more somber gathering such as a funeral or First Communion. We are dedicated to providing exquisite culinary offerings to suit each unique event. Our diverse menu includes offerings such as funeral treat boxes and treat boxes for all other occasions, ensuring that we can provide comfort and support during difficult times, as well as enhance the festivities during happier moments. In addition, we offer prepackaged meals designed for all occasions, ensuring that the food at your event is not only delicious but also convenient. Call us today at 758733335 for your finger-licking and palatable foods.
Welcome to the Caribbean American News Media Show, your premier destination for in-depth coverage, engaging discussions, and entertaining segments showcasing the rich tapestry of Caribbean American culture. Join us as we explore a wide range of topics, from current events and community spotlights to arts, music, cuisine, and more. Our show features exclusive interviews with influencers, artists, community leaders, and everyday heroes who are making a difference in the Caribbean American community. Stay informed and inspired with our thought-provoking segments that highlight the diversity, resilience, and creativity within our community. Tune into the Caribbean American News Media Show for a captivating blend of news, entertainment, and storytelling that celebrates the Caribbean American experience. Get ready to discover new perspectives, celebrate successes, and connect with the heartbeat of the Caribbean American community. Don't miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned to Caribbean American News Media Show for an immersive viewing experience like no other. Hashtag Caribbean American News, hashtag show, hashtag cultural celebration.
You are viewing Caribbean American News Media on YouTube and on Facebook. You can also find us on 360 Radio. Your host for tonight is Garfield Olliver. Let's get to work.
Yes, greetings to all. Welcome to Caribbean American News Media Platform. It is good to have you with us, friends. We are live on the air. A pleasant good evening to all our faithful listeners. If it is Tuesday night, it is Caribbean American News Platform, and so we want to again greet everyone and welcome you to this live feed. We encourage you to share the live as you join. The platform is very important. Share the live and tag a friend as we dig into some current events, some happenings around the world, particularly there, St. Lucia. So good to have you folks. Welcome again to all the different platforms that you are viewing us from, my friend Mr. Soto there in Dennery South. Again, you can support also with your stars or however you do support the platform. We thank you so much for doing that. I realize we just had a star sender. Lucita, thank you so much for your support to the program. And I want to thank again all our valued over 1 million plus strong viewers here on our network. And so tonight we're going to get to work. Yes, we are not going to be playing around. We're going to get to work, of course, to the SLP supporters. I just want to reset the ground rules again, that we do not want you to come onto the platform to disrespect or to use languages that we do not support here. And so I want you to keep it as clean as you can if you're going to come over. Don't provoke our viewers at all. That's not the place for that. We come here to discuss real issues that are impacting families throughout the nation or throughout the region, wheresoever you've been affected. We are here as your voice. And so I want to caution you that to be careful with your choice of words on the platform. I am a Christian and I must represent that at all times in all that I do, and I would ask you to help me to maintain my Christianity by please use your words wisely, carefully, respectfully, as we are a public platform and they are young people, they are children who would be viewing our broadcasts, and so be very careful, my friends. I also have a young daughter who would be monitoring the room on my behalf ever so often, and other individuals who are young, the team who are young, who will be watching my platform. So I want you to be very careful. You can criticize, you can object, you can give a different side of the discussion, but no disrespect. There's no need for all this drama. Life is short, and it does make sense, friends. So good evening to all once again. Dr. Fletcher is on. I see Gregory. Let me try to see if I can call out some of the names on the platform. We have a slight adjustment to our program tonight. I will share that with you. We did post earlier some notification as to some adjustments to tonight's program. Dr. Fletcher, greetings again. Arnold, greetings to you. Jimmy, greetings. My friend Angeli, greetings. My Dudu Beth, Lawrence Pair is on. Again, Gregory Charles, May, Cameron Law, greetings to you. Charles, Hillary, greetings. Toussaint, greetings to you. Remy, Dorothy, Camilla, yes, Maria, Sita, Beverly, and the list goes on and on and on. Greetings to all. I want to go into the program. We have a lot to discuss, and to those of you over on our YouTube channel, let me just peep over to the YouTube monitor and see what's happening there. And I see Gloriana and Velda is over there, Jabatis and Michelle, Clive over there in Grenada, our Dominican friends who have joined our platform officially as part of the experience here. Thank you so much, our Dominican friend and Grenadian friends who have joined in on this platform. Wilson, greetings to you. May, greetings to you. Benjamin, greetings to you. Wherever you're viewing us from, folks, I realize that YouTube is giving our Facebook audience a run when it comes to viewership. Sometimes there's neck and neck in viewership there. So, I really appreciate that. I have seen the growth over there on our YouTube channel, where sometimes we carry the same amount of viewers on both channels. That's a tremendous thing, folks. Thank you so much. So let's get into some, because we have a lot to do. I have to go back with some clips earlier, but let me just let you know that we had Mr. Rejock, the financial expert, lawyer, and advisor, a consultant on money laundering and financial crime. He had some issues that he have rectified, and he will be with us on Thursday at 8 p.m. On Thursday, there's a special broadcast at 8 p.m. He has been confirmed for that broadcast tonight. He was all excited and everything, but circumstances beyond his control. I would not explain it to you here, but I did understand the logistics of having to rush into a place to get onto this platform so we can have a professional broadcast system. And so that will be in place on Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on this platform, where we're going to look. And I'm happy that we are delayed for tonight on his appearance, because there's some other developments that came out, and I would be happy to engage him on this matter. We have some international arrest that we must highlight when he comes onto the platform on Thursday, and also he is reviewing some other developments in the whole CIP-CBI discussion in the region, and we're going to be having a very important discussion here with him at on Thursday at 8 p.m. So please, we do apologize for the inconvenience of that broadcast. Many folks were looking forward to it, and I heard that there were some whispers in some part of the island, some whispering about the broadcast for tonight. So they don't have any need to monitor it. He will be on Thursday, God's willing, and we look forward to it. All right, let's get into our discussion for tonight. I came across some stuff. I have been for the weekend out of the news, and even yesterday out of the news, because of some engagement that some commitments that I had for from Saturday into Monday. I was off on Monday, and so I had to be rushing and looking and trying to figure out what is new out there that we should be discussing, and everything is the same. There's some twists to certain things. We're going to be looking at it, and I'm also going to be asking the regulatory body of the airwaves in St. Lucia to pay a little more attention to the airwaves. Let us try to, keep the space clean, decent, so that we would not have an issue. Let us respect each other's boundaries, and we can have a civilized society. All right, so we're not going to go regionally yet. We're going to stay right there in St. Lucia for now. I came across something that I want to show you. Some of you might get a little frustrated and, oh boy, this guy again, why are we having King so long, playing him so long on our platform? Oh my God, not King, not at this time. But I want to go back, friends, to a clip that I came across, and I believe that was between 2011, somewhere around there, at a function in Grosile, it was, I believe, and he said, yes. Just bear with me, folks. Yes. So as I was saying, it went back way back to Mr. King while he was a member of the United Workers' Party, and he make a very powerful statement. It goes like this: we got to fix the wrong. All right, we got to correct the wrong. So let's listen to Mr. King.
Many of you have been asking questions. Many of you have been wondering about Stephenson King. Many of you have met me and you've expressed your feeling about my absence. But my friends, I say unto you, let not your hearts be troubled. Many times, there are those who say that King is a silent man. But don't get carried away with my silence, because my silence can be deadly. But there will be a time when I'll speak to you in greater detail about what has gone on and what people have been thinking about Stephenson King. I say one thing to you. And that is, if there is one man in politics in St. Lucia who has been stable in his political philosophy, it is Stephenson King. I, as a politician, ever since I entered elective politics, I have been one place, and one place I have been. I have not been left, I have not been center, I've been here on the platform of the United Workers' Party. But my friends, tonight it's not about Stephenson King. Tonight it's not about Stephenson King. Tonight is about a candidate that we believe who should have been sitting in the parliament today, but who is out of parliament now. Tonight it's about Leonard Spider Montour. And Leonard Spider, as we all call him, I recalled when he came into politics, that is elective politics, in the year 2001. He came with a commitment, he came with conviction, and he came with determination to serve his people of Grosley. He came and he put on a good fight. He worked with Dr. Vaughan Lewis and was loyal and committed. And he showed his devotion and dedication to serving the people of Grosley. Unfortunately, in 2001, he failed to defeat the candidate, then the incumbent representative for Grosley. But did that stop Spider? Did Spider run away? Spider stood his ground. And for 5 years, since 2001 to 2006, Spider continued to fight and fight and fight until he won the seat in 2006. My friends, the character of the man Spider, the determination of the man Spider, and the ability of the man Spider is an indication of the quality of men and women that the United Workers' Party brings to you every election, presenting them to serve you in Parliament and give you effective representation. Spider, having served in 2006, first with Sir John, then with me, gave me full support as my deputy. He always expressed concern not only about his constituency, but on every portfolio which he carried, whether it's youth and sports, whether it's the public service. Spider demonstrated total commitment to the people of this country. And every time I think of Spider, he's a man who often, when things worried him, he would come to me as Prime Minister. And he would sit with me, though concerned sometimes, but just to be given the assurance and to make a contribution and recommendation about the management of this country through difficult times. Of course, many a times, the success of my leadership sometimes are thrown totally on me as Prime Minister. But tonight I must say that during those difficult years between 2006 and 2011, people like Leonard Spider Montoute gave me the encouragement, gave me the support, and they placed their shoulders to the wheel in this difficult period of 2006-2011. Certainly, I was disturbed when Spider lost his seat in 2011. But since then, I have seen in Spider a man who reflects that determination, that commitment, and certainly a renewal of his interest in representing the people of Grosley, come what may, whenever that election may be called. I am here tonight. I am here tonight to support Spider because I believe Spider has the energy, Spider has the commitment, and Spider has the determination to represent you effectively in this country. What this country is looking for at this time, my friends, this country is looking for men of principle. This country is looking for men and women of principle. This country is looking for men and women who are committed to the cause of the people. We're not in this for ourselves. We are not in it for ourselves. We are in it to make the sacrifices necessary to serve the people who need the support of we the politicians from the United Workers' Party. And that is what we do. That is what we do. We sacrifice our lives. We show people that we are committed. And it's not just a show. It's a natural ability, it's a natural infinity of ours that we are concerned about the people of this country. Oftentimes when I go through my constituency, I say to people that I need not tell you what the wrongs are in this land today. You know what it is. You know what they are. And I put them through a simple test. I say to them, in the last 10 years, you had the opportunity of being represented and led in this country by a government between 2006 and 2011, the United Workers' Party. You know what you experienced between 2006 2011. It was a year, or period rather, of tremendous international disturbance. It was a period.
Okay, Bervin, we just received, and the reason why I did not interject in the clip is that we just received some new developments. I am wondering whether we should have waited until Thursday to share this this development out of Dubai. I believe it is something that you, the citizens, would need to know. We did share a document from Mr. Rejok concerning the alleged arrest of Mr. Mimon Asra, I believe is the name. We just got word tonight as I was on the set here with you, friends. Please share the live and tag a friend. Very interesting news. Remember last week, folks, we share on this platform that the gentleman was arrested in Dubai and he would be on bond and cannot leave the country. And I remember Mr. Redrock quickly putting out a notice advising him, because he said that he was not arrested. He said he was not arrested and everything was okay. He was in his garden, and some of the Labour Party surrogates, started making calls. I got calls, and they start saying that you guys are lying, the guy is not arrested and everything else. I have some information that I just received. The gentleman, Mr. Mimon, who is part of the sale, he's one of those agents, I believe, who sell the passport of St. Lucia to foreigners through the CIP program. I am just learning that he himself is a St. Lucian. He is a St. Lucian. That is Mr. Mimon. Up there in Dubai, he has a St. Lucian passport, which indicates that he is a St. Lucian national citizen of St. Lucia. I would need more information on this matter. Now, some of you would be asking me, how do you know he is a St. Lucian? Now, I have in my possession here on the platform tonight a copy, what appears to be his St. Lucian passport. His St. Lucian passport. I have it. I have a copy of that document here with me. It appears legit. I got to review it again, but for the privacy of Mr. Mimon, who is, it appears that he is a St. Lucian citizen through the CIP program himself, folks, himself. I have blurred out some information so that we can do further investigations until we can get this going. I am going to show you the proof of what I am saying, because too often what happens is that people say to us that we are spreading false information, or we are not being responsible in our broadcast of the CIP program, and that we are lying and all the other stories. But tonight, folks, I am going to say it appears that the gentleman is indeed a St. Lucian. He carries a St. Lucian passport. Let us go over to that document so that you can have a first-hand look at it. It is blurred out for his birth dates and stuff is on it, and I'm not sure. I need to get counsel on that. I do not want to post the actual document on the platform. So I am going to show you some this document. Folks, I'm out of words because, ever so often people believe that you're spreading propaganda, and it kind of bothers me that we cannot get to the truth because the water is so muddy, and there is so much truth, that are out there, that we get caught up in the, show me the evidence, there is no proof and all those things. But the gentleman, it appears, is a St. Lucian. That is breaking news. On Thursday, we're going to get more information through Mr. Rejock, I believe. I have not spoken to him tonight. I got this from a different source, which I got to protect, but on Thursday, I will guarantee you that we will be digging a little deeper into this with Mr. Reedrock, and we will be confirming whether the gentleman was indeed arrested or not. I know he was challenged that if he's not been arrested and everything else, that he should travel to prove that he is not unbound. But I'm going to put this document up so that you, the viewers, can have a look. You St. Lucians who are concerned about your patrimony, you're concerned about what is happening with your CIP. Let's go over there now. Now, just bear with me for 1 minute. I'm going to put it back up. I know some of you, you want to see what in the world is happening here, folks. We're not here to besmirch anyone's character. We're here to present to you the truth. So I'm going to bar out some of the numbers so that you would not have the numbers in your possession. A passport is a private document, and I believe if the government of St. Lucia went into an agreement with the gentleman concerning the passport, that we got to be responsible and we got to protect as much as we can, all right? So let's go. We're going to blow it up. Let's blow it up so that our audience can have a first-hand look.
I love this shot fella. The sky is falling.
All right, so we're going to pull it back now. All right, so that's what, and there's a lot more stuff that is in our official email for the Caribbean American News platform, folks. You got to forgive me, I'm a little speechless with what is happening here, but the brother would have received the passport. If it is a legit passport, he would have received it legit through maybe the legal means of one getting a official document of the country. And so all I can say, let's just continue to monitor the space, watch the space. On Thursday night, we will go deeper into this revelation. But the gentleman he sells the passports. He's one of the agents, I believe, there in Dubai. And so we got a little deeper. And every disappointment, they are for blessings. So this one came in hot on the press. And so we just That's what it is, friends. That's what it is. So we're going to be moving on today. Let's, as we on the CIP, whole CIP, this. Let me just say to you folks, you don't have to look St. Lucian. Once you have a St. Lucian passport, and this is for clarity, I see somebody wrote whether he was born in St. Lucia or he looks St. Lucian. And again, you got to follow the discussion. Citizenship by investment, CIP, is that you can buy your pass. You can buy a passport. Any foreigner, whether you're Russian, whether you're in Dubai. Well, I'm not sure if they restrict the Russians as yet. But if you're from Dubai, you're from some other country in the Far East or whatever it is, you can apply through the Citizenship by Investment program, and you can become a citizen of St. Lucia. You can receive a passport. You don't have to look St. Lucian. You don't have to be born in St. Lucia, but you can purchase that passport through part of the agreement of the CIP or the CBI in the region. And that is what we're discussing, and I see some movement in the government today. I saw something there. A group of individuals from the ECCB Connect, who the regulatory group, visiting St. Lucia today. They'll be here until the 3rd, and I believe they're looking at the CIP program in St. Lucia, and I suspect that they're going to be making recommendations to the Prime Minister in order to correct some of the issues there in the CIP. And it looks like there is some movement in the CIP unit of St. Lucia. There's the group coming in from the ECCB. I believe one of them, they're a lawyer, and other individuals coming in to maybe assist St. Lucia or to advise the government on their CIP program. With all the pressure out there, folks, from the EU to the United States, that's a lot of pressure for a small country like St. Lucia. And I would want to be balanced in my reporting tonight, that the government seems to be having some movement. We'll go over to a clip from Mr. Healy on the CIP matter, and then we will have some questions for him based on his statements in the briefing room of the Government Information Service. But let's look at the evidence again of Mr. Pam meeting with some of the individuals of the ECCB Connect. Now, again, remember, we're not saying that the gentleman received his citizenship through bribe, corruption, or anything. That's not what we're saying here. We're just broadcasting. We're just informing you, the citizens, that the gentleman is indeed a citizen of St. Lucia through the CIP program. And maybe we can find out at some point what investment, how did he get the passport? Did he, there are different ways, different programs within the CIP that, the infrastructure and different parts of it, Some of you, it's complicated for you, even though sometimes we take our time and we break it down. But that is what is happening right now. But there is a group underground in St. Lucia, and that they're looking at the CIP program. They're going to advise the government of St. Lucia.
Appealing to him for us to have an order and agree on an order, and even suggesting to him various orders that we can see. Then they will activate that mechanism. It's not like somebody came yesterday and they applied for citizenship, so it's not going to happen like that. Cause for concern. No. Add CIP to the existing list explains that the EU will first say to a country, I heard the leader of the opposition said that we're going to lose visa access to the EU. And we've been talking to the EU about the actions that they're taking. And let me explain to you what the EU is doing. Let me explain to you. And I'm sure when I finish explaining to you, you will understand what the EU is doing, and you might even agree with the EU. The EU now has a regime where the countries that have visa-free access, if their citizens behave in a particular manner that is injurious to the interests of the EU, they can stop that visa-free access. So there are a number of areas for certain actions. If they become of concern to the EU, they can. It explains that the EU will first say to a country that we have X problem, we have seen an acceleration of a certain incidence of a certain behavior or actions or whatever, and you should act on it. If the country...
Okay, so I am not sure. Hold a minute, folks. I am not sure if what Mr. Healy said earlier there, it is the full truth, and he is representing truthfully what the EU is doing right now. He's saying that they will give you time to fix stuff, and you can. This is not the United States we're talking about. We're talking about the European Union. And for those of you who have a cell phone and you have internet, you can go to the EU Parliament and you can read up on what is taking place. But for Mr. Healy to say, first start with the opposition and then to say that it is, they will give the countries time to fix whatever issues they have, and then they will make adjustments. So they will. So if you fix the issues in your country with the CIP or the CDB, the CIP, let's just say CIP, then the EU will meet again and they will make adjustments to accommodate that country. I don't think that's what we're gathering here. I don't think that represents exactly what the EU is doing. The EU is going to bar anyone who purchase their CIP passport through the CIP programs of the region. They're going to take away their free visa access. You know, like you have a born St. Lucian, a natural born St. Lucian with a St. Lucian passport, and right now you do not require a visa to go into some European countries. What Europe is saying, what the Union is saying, is that you can come in, but if you purchase your passport, your citizenship through CIP program, and you are from a foreign country, another country. You were born in another country. Let's say you were born in Dubai, and or Russia, and you get this visa, this nationality through one of the options of CIP. Then we're going to ask you to go through a process of getting a visa before you can come into our country. I did not hear anything about we will give you time to fix your situation and then you can come in, we can work with. That's not what I'm gathering from the European Parliament. But let's go back to Mr. Healy.
Does not act on it, the EU then will give them a period over which to solve the problem, or else they will use visa access. So the first thing, they notify you, then they serve notice on you that if you don't do something about it, they will remove visa-free access, and then if still you do nothing about it, they will remove the privilege you have of visa-free access for your nationals and citizens. So that exists. What the EU is doing now, the EU is saying, look, we have noticed that we've recognized the possibility for people with CIP citizenships to come into the EU and seek asylum. And therefore, because they have visa-free access, they can come in, and when they are in, they will claim asylum. So we want to put measures in place. If that should happen, then we can serve notice that, look, there is an escalation in persons with CIP passports seeking asylum, if it happens, and to alert the countries to do something about it, and if they do nothing about it, then to waive visa-free access. So what the EU is doing really is to add CIP to the existing list of persons that can qualify, can be asked to, countries that can be asked to take action because their citizens are violating the rules of the EU. That CIP citizens, countries with CIP programs did not exist before. But that's, in my view, understandable why they're doing it. Because if, for example, this...
I believe that there's some error again. The whole sale of passports, CIP, has been going on, especially, I believe, in Dominica or St. Kitts, or one of these countries. It has been going on for a long time. The citizenship by investment is not new to the EU. It has been out there for a while. It didn't happen in 2016. And for Mr. Healer to say, well, it's something new, the CIP was not, and they're just adding CIP to the list. I do not believe that's what this motion in the Parliament is there in the EU. I don't think that is close to what is happening, my people. And I am open for correction on this one. But on Thursday night, we are going to have the expert here with us who will answer, and we'll open the phone lines to answer the many questions we have, because we have come to a place, folks, in the CIP discussion where nobody is believing the government. Nobody in the region is believing government ministers and government systems. They're not believing them anymore. People are seeking other means of getting information. Why? Because, one, the governments in the region have not been clear on the CIP program, and it's not new. This one is not new. The governments in the region, those ministers who manage the CIP programs, have not been open. They have, you have reports that have not been provided to the citizens, no proper explanation. It is more a political explanation or a kind of ammunition type, war zone type approach to giving you information, where even in St. Lucia we saw where the same minister was saying to you, well, I have to ask Galaxy and I have to do this and I have to ask this one. And then we come across a clip in Dubai where they're getting the information without hesitation. We are getting the numbers of passports from him, through the folks in Dubai. But in the country, the people are not getting the information that is necessary for them to come, to a balanced approach in the discussion. And so everything is just left open. And you can understand why we are where we are today, is that people no longer trust their political leaders when it comes to CIP program. The people take their patrimony very seriously. And it doesn't matter what government it is. This is a serious matter, and we should not be playing these kind of games that is being played by our government officials. And so in the region on a whole, people are just skeptical with what our government ministers, especially Mr. Healy. Mr. Healy had the perfect opportunity, friends, to just come clear with the people of St. Lucia. The questions that were being asked to the government or the CIP unit, they were fair questions and concerns. They were fair questions and concerns. That's the people's business. And to say to them, well, don't ask me, I will ask them if I can tell you, but I can't tell you the people business. And then we're hearing that files were given to, is it BMAX, the contract there was cancelled. I am not even sure that they told us why it was cancelled. I know when we broke the news that BMAX, one of the BMAX leaders were arrested overseas, then they said, well, they want to destroy our CIP. That's what they said. The opposition and the Zelevs want to destroy the CIP program. And so that was just, and then later on, as pressure built up, then we heard a passerby statement that, by the way, You didn't know that BMAX contract was cancelled? You all didn't know? I remember that. You all remember that. I can't find the clip now. But because the CIP program is for Thursday, not for tonight. But we're going to spend a little time because, you know, it's a concern to the people. And, well, of course, it's valuable time spent discussing the people's patrimony. And so Prime Minister said, yes, to the journalists, you guys did know that we had, yes, we did. BMAX, but the project still goes on, and the project is still going to go on. But for now, we have cancelled, we have suspended the BMAX contract, and we have not heard anything again on that for a while concerning the housing project there in Castries, Rock Hall development project, I believe, that was given to BMAX, and we know what took place there with that, where, you know, there was some all kind of craziness with dates, starting dates, end dates, and blah, 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 blah. And then we found out from Mr. Healy, I believe it was yesterday, that there was something, BMAX was not following the memo or something. I heard him saying today, which is concerning to me. The other thing is that we have not received a report. I believe it is overdue by 6 or 7 months. I might be subject to correction, but I believe the report that we're waiting for, it is it's over 6 or 7 months due, and we have not heard anything that from him or from anyone. Well, I have not heard any one of them say, look, the report is there now. It's going to be tabled on the 30th or on the 15th. Nothing at all. You know, it's just dead silence and let's just move on. It's not the CIP people's fault. It's not the auditor's fault. So it's nobody's fault that the law of the country, the law that governs CIP, is being broken, is not being followed. You know, and there's all these questions around CIP, and still nobody is saying, look, guys, we got to put pressure to get our reports on time, because, you know, we're already in a situation here where our CIP project is in question, and we got to do something internally in order to, you know, to smooth the back feelings, if I can use that term, of the citizens of the country. But let us go back to Mr. Healy as he explains.
The countries that have refugee problems, that's one category. I'm just giving you for illustrative purposes. That already exists, and there are procedures for that. But the countries that issue CIP citizenships are not on the list. So it's not a basis for them to waive, not waive, but to remove your visa-free access privileges. So now they're adding the CIP as one of the reasons. So if persons from CIP countries are abusing the visa-free and they're going into the EU and seeking asylum, using the fact that they are visa-free, then the EU can say to the country, hey, a problem has developed. Can you deal with that?
But I believe that I'm trying to believe the government minister. It looks like he's doing his best to try to explain based on his knowledge. I'm having a hard time reading the Parliament, the EU's proposal that was advanced. That's at an advanced stage in the Congress there. And what the minister is saying, that, you know, they will look at it and they will decide if they should. That's not what I'm hearing, friends. So let us listen. We're going to put Mr. Healy on pause for a while, and we're going to go to Mr. I believe Estefan from St. Kitts, a lawyer there. Let's listen to him and his explanation of what is happening to the CIP program.
Hand of death may now be touching the CEOs in the Eastern Caribbean, because the cold hand of death may now be touching the CBI program of Antigua, Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts and Nevis. The European Union is about to introduce legislation in its parliament which would remove the visa waiver for travel to 28 European countries by persons who hold economic citizenship of these and other countries, ours and others. So only people who acquire citizenship by natural causes, birth, descent, marriage, and naturalization, will have a chance to enjoy the visa waiver into the European Union. This will be disastrous for our CBI. And as if it is not enough, the Americans are applying pressure as well. If this happens and it seems inevitable, then somebody please call Pastor Connor to do the last rites over our CBI. This disaster has been threatening for years. People, including myself, have been cautioning for years. Clearly, not enough has been done about it. How did we get here? Let's look back a little bit. Our CBI was started in 1984. It operated pretty much as a one-man show. No accountability, no transparency. It wasn't big, at least not for the country. Then in 2006, the SIDF was introduced. SIDF is a foundation established by the National Trust Company, which is 100% owned by National Bank, which itself is 51% owned by the government. So while it is not formally part of the government, it is in reality under the control of the government, more specifically under the control of the Prime Minister. And over the years, it has operated pretty much like a secret society. A bad start that has contributed to the judgment day that we're now facing. Now you can argue that the European Union and the United States may have always wanted to close down these CBIs. But I think it would be fair to say also that we have given them reason to do so. Some of the egregiousness and slackness that have taken place. A well thought out CBI program would be governed by prudent policy and practices relating to population, capacity, limits, ethnic, social, cultural, and economic stability, clear electoral and constitutional safeguards, including but not restricted to rights, voting, citizenship, succession, land and business ownership, electoral eligibility, national security, institutional and infrastructural resiliency, and so on. But from 2006, the dazzle of dollars became the main focus. Too much poor leadership, too much slackness, too much greed. In 2006, the Douglas administration, of which I was a member, signed a deal with a Swiss company named Henley & Partner, giving Henley & Partner exclusive worldwide rights to promote and market the SIDF. Henley & Partner would receive $20,000 for each successful applicant, whether it processed the application or not. And of course, if it processed the application, it would extract a fee, maybe $10,000 from each applicant. So Henley & Partner were both the exclusive worldwide promotion and marketing agent and still a sales agent. A bit excessive, in my opinion. And if I recall correctly, on top of that, they still wanted to do the due diligence, which would be terribly wrong. Now, persons who are far brighter and more knowledgeable of these things than I am tell me that the SIDF generated about $1 billion under the leadership of Douglas and another $1 billion under the leadership of Harris. When I call these numbers, ask yourselves what you got out of it under Douglas and what you got out of it under Harris. And ask yourselves why we are where we are, given all of this money that has been generated. Why are we where we are? And why is the burden of the present government, and they're not free, but why is the burden of the present government so heavy? This is the main reason. The money that should have been made available to lift this country to the next level. Poof. I will not take the billion. I'll be more conservative. I will presume that under Douglas, the SIDF generated $500 million. And under Harris, $500 million US. That's $1.35 billion under each EC. Douglas parted ways with Henley in 2013, and a new group named CS Global was brought in to replace them. This is after 7 years. We had already gotten our feet wet. We knew the industry. We did not need such an arrangement. But Douglas brought in CS Global in 2013. No explainable, no sound, no logical justification for a move like that. By my estimate, Henley and partner could have pocketed $80 million out of their arrangement with the Douglas administration. And CS Global maybe twice that out of its relationship with Douglas, Harris, and Drew. So you're looking at 240 or even 3 times that, I could say. Between 240 and 320 million US dollars for those 2 companies. Possible. Who under God's heaven can convince anybody with common sense and a conscience that these have been good deals for you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis? And all of that money does not include the at least 500 million US dollars that has been bled from our country to the Tilofs project at Frigate Bay, the Chinese project at West Farm, and the Ramada Inn, all of which made a load of money for them, but was a failure for us. Meanwhile, the US warned, Canada warned, the UK warned, the European Union warned. And what did our leaders do? They gave our passports to Mogadama, to Arthur Porter, to Tursun Bayev, to Charles Obiang, to Hush Puppy, and to a number of other bad eggs. Defiant. They even gave diplomatic passports to some of these scamps. What kind of leadership have we had in this country? Why are we lionizing people who have done so much damage to us and have pushed us now to the precipice of destruction? But that's not all, you know. There are the international marketing agents. These people operate outside of St. Kitts Nevis. They market the CBI products. And they control the industry, charging massive commissions and dictating which local authorized agents work and how much they work for. These international market agents make between 20,000 and 50,000 US dollars for each successful application. So for every 1,000 citizenships transacted, they earn between 20 and 50 million US dollars, which is paid to them by the developer or by the government, depending on which option they're selling. And the government, of course, is you. Now, I don't expect to get services for free, but this situation with the international marketing agents has long gotten out of hand, and it is they who successfully pressured our governments to turn a blind eye to the underpricing of the CBI product, because our governments saw money passing, big money. Some of these international marketing agents are so powerful and corrupt that governments seem afraid to remove them from the list. They have generated...
Folks, I want you to continue listening to this. I am going to put it on so that you can listen. Very important. I know some people have, they don't like to
and all of the
listen,
others,
but listen.
CS Global, Henley and Partner, and so forth. You're looking at about 2 billion US dollars, at least, which is about 5 billion EC dollars. Billion, not 100 or 1,000 or million. Billion with a B. With regard to the jail project, Galaxy wholesaled all of their 4,400 files to international marketing agents at a discounted price, pocketing about $400 million up front. And they made more money by having their affiliate company do the due diligence. So you're looking at $475 to $500 million through the Galaxy bank accounts. From the jail project alone, the international marketing agents made over $200 million. All of that money flying out, generated from St. Kitts and Nevis, but little or none of it landing in.
Okay, so that is Mr. Estefan over there in St. Kitts. And he's speaking about, basically the rip-off that is happening, the injustice, the unfairness that is happening to Caribbean countries with this whole CIP. Can you imagine if this was gas we have discovered in our waters, the corruption, the nastiness that would have been taking place? Can you imagine if our passports we are doing all this nonsense with? Can you imagine us finding gas, oil somewhere off St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, or Dominica? Can you imagine the greediness, the nastiness that we would have to go through? Look at what is happening here. And we did not arrive here overnight. St. Lucians, Dominicans, Grenadans. We did not arrive here. The alarm has been sounded over and over and over again. It appears to me that these foreign marketers and agents in these far countries are getting away with all the resources, the assets, the financial resources of the citizens of the country. And what we see is that governments are borrowing millions and billions of dollars. Their hospitals are in a mess. Their roads are in a mess. And they say to you, we don't have money and we have to... And guess what? You know what is sad, St. Lucians and my people around the region? They tax you, the people. They tax you, the people. They put 2.5% on you. They put 15% on you. Food prices are high at the grocery stores. Services are expensive, light, water. They cannot get proper water system in the country because they say to you it is too expensive, but yet we are giving away billions of dollars. And these guys are drinking whiskey and wine in Dubai and they're doing all this stuff out there with your money. And you get the crumbs. And we are still going into House of Assembly to borrow billions of dollars when we have the money. All we have to do is to pull this thing back together. A matter of fact, I am not even sure how we can pull this thing back. I'm telling you the truth, looking at it, because investors now are saying, me, I don't want to touch your passport because Europe is saying to us that we can't come into their country without all these restrictions. And that's why we needed your passport, so that we can bypass all these countries' restrictions. That's the whole purpose of passports. Why do you think they're buying your passports? Because they like your sand and your beach? How many of them, think about it, how many of those individuals who have purchased your passports, your citizenship, have built any mansion in St. Lucia or St. Kitts or Dominica? How many of them have residence in these countries? How many of them? Think about it. Some of them have never been to your country and they don't care about your country. They don't want to be there. It is only about access to other countries. It is not about you. You are just a stepping stone to get. And by the way, they don't care whether your local citizens get pressure at airports to go into international countries because of the CIP. They don't care about that. And I blame all our governments, I blame our governments in the region for allowing the CIP, CBI program to get out of hand. The blame is on our government in the region, not on the investors or the marketers. It is not on the marketers. And it's time for you guys to open your eyes. It is not on them. They saw an opportunity to play on the leaders in our region, and they did. Play they did. Caller, you're on the air. Caribbean American News Media Platform. You're on the air, caller.
Good evening, Pastor Garfield, and good evening to your listeners and viewers.
Yes, thank you. Evening to you, sir.
Pastor Garfield, Ernest Healer wants us to believe that the European Union is scrutinizing the CIP countries to try and weed out or to stop passport holders from seeking asylum in the EU.
Yeah, that's what he's...
That is not true. That is a lie. What Ernest Healer is not telling us is that the European Union is aware that some of those persons, namely the Iranians, the Russians, the Chinese, and even some of the Africans, they are actually changing their names in order to gain access to our passports. Okay? These are questionable characters. They have dubious backgrounds. And they pose a serious security risk to the EU. That is the main reason why the red flags are up, the antennas of the EU are up. It has nothing to do with seeking asylum or refugee status. Okay? The EU is more concerned with that aspect than with seeking of asylum by thing. So tell Ernest Healy that the world is a very, very small place these days. And information is readily available at our fingertips, and he cannot fool us. We are not going to buy it. Ernest Healy needs to come clean, not in Dubai, but in St. Lucia. That is my contribution.
Thank you very much. Beautiful contribution. And let me just get an expert here on this field to come in at this point. Hold your calls, brethren. Let me just get an expert in on this situation here. An expert in the field. Now, remember, we have our expert coming in on Thursday. Mr. Reedrock is going to be here with us. And like I said, we're going to be asking him the tough questions. We want to know what in the world is happening. Folks, just hold a minute with your calls. I'm going to decline some of the calls. I'm going to decline your calls. I see the phone is going busy there, folks. Just bear with me. I want to bring in an expert, an experienced person tonight. This will be our first approach to discussing the whole CIP. And of course, we will have our specialists on, our legal experience expert with us on Thursday. So let's see if we can hook up with our friend here at the program. Yes, sir.
Hi.
Mr. Matil, I'm tempted to call you. I was tempted to trouble you tonight, and I do apologize. But, you know, here we are again, CIP discussion.
Well, listen, people have to stop thinking that Ernest Hiller will come clean. That's impossible. Okay? Everybody in the Caribbean is fully aware right now that the walls are closing. The European Union text and the proposed suspension of free visa is not like he tried to explain to the people about people looking for asylum. The text is very clear. Money laundering, corruption, and due diligence. These people have sold their countries to China. So you have now, apparently I saw the news today, we broke the news about 50,000 passports, if you remember when we broke the contract, right?
Yeah.
And now they're saying that it's 60,000 in the news, right? So whatever it's 50 or 60,000, it doesn't matter. Suddenly, just one small country, St. Lucia, Mr. Hiller and Mr. MacLeod have given 50 to 60,000 passports, and they did it under the legal price, right? So the European Union knows that. The European Union has all the evidence, right? Thanks to me, okay? And the same with the American. So the walls are closing. So you people have to stop being naive, suddenly expecting that Ernest Hilaire suddenly is going to find the light and he's going to come clean and say, okay, this is what I've done. He's never going to do that. Right now, they're busy cleaning up the mess and changing the contract that they've signed with Galaxy because of Alan Chastanet lawsuit, right?
Oh, they're
now,
making, but you just broke some news there, so they're making adjustments to that contract?
But you just say today, look, do you remember when we leaked the BMAX criminal organization?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Okay. So we, MSR, were able to find out what the government of St. Lucia and the CIP of St. Lucia couldn't find. Right? That it was a criminal organization. Now, at first, they tried to deny it. We're going to look into it. And now, a few months later, they come and say, oh, we cancel the contract. Yeah, you cancel the contract because you failed at doing your job of due diligence. The same way, they sold their country to China. It's done. It's over. So now, what we need to see is the European Union has made it very clear: due diligence, money laundering, corruption. We know where their money is. Okay? Game's over. We told them a year ago. Okay? Now, we have to stop with the alleged arrest. We're past that. How did the Mimoun Asraoui Reef Trust broke? Okay? Mimoun called me. I know Mimoun very well. He was in tears like a baby.
So he spoke to you?
Okay? It's because of me that the story broke. He called me and he said, listen, can you please tell Ryjock to stop with the article? I've been arrested. I cannot leave the country, and Dubai because of the passport. And I called my cloud. That's how it broke. And then I say, Mimoun, don't disturb me. And I told to Ryjock, and then he spoke to Ryjock, and he tried to convince him to write the story. End of story. He cannot leave Dubai. If he could leave Dubai, Ryjock told him, well, come to St. Lucia. It's over. Garfield, there is nothing. It's over. Okay? Now we just have to wait, right? It doesn't matter what Hilaire say, what all those governments say. It's over. Now we have to wait what the EU will decide. But remember, those evidence that they didn't want to come to see in DC? Well, now the EU has it. The EU has the evidence. As the American. Okay? I told them I will expose you all the way to the end of the world.
Jeez.
Right?
Jesus, man.
So it doesn't matter what the acts are saying. This is not about red versus yellow. I've said it from the beginning. It's a master plan that has been set up by corruption, massive, where the people of the Caribbean, as Dwyer Estefan has explained very well, have been robbed of billions of dollars. Okay? Now, I've said it to you, God protect me, and in January, the court order, I got all the bank transaction of these people. Okay? From Bank of America.
So you know exactly where the money is?
Exactly. Every penny of it.
And it's not with the people.
Of course it's not with the people. Did you see $2 billion from Galaxy? You got to stop. People have to stop being naive.
Yeah, I think I am myself. I give the government the benefit of the doubt.
Of course you are. Listen, because it's so big, right? And the worst you don't know. The worst you don't know.
My God.
The worst part nobody knows. Okay? So let's just wait. The State Department, you saw Hilaire in his press conference. What did he say? He said, no, there is no list. But did you see the website of the State Department?
Yeah.
Concern of the Caribbean over citizenship by investment program with China and Iran.
Yep.
The worst of it, nobody knows what it is, except the people that have done it. And I'm sure that the European Union and the American knows everything. You don't mess with a powerful country and think that because you're on a small island, everybody's going to overlook. Okay? So this is much bigger. People shouldn't be speculated.
No.
Everything is being handled. And let's just wait over the next few weeks what the European Union and the U.S. authority are going to be deciding. Okay? But remember, I warned everyone a year ago, and I gave those guys the opportunity to come clean. They're never going to come clean. Okay? That's it.
Oh boy! So they're taking the country they have taken the country to the precipice, and I mean,
of course, but it doesn't matter. We don't want to talk to these people anymore. We give them a shot. They played, oh, it's not true, it's Chastenay, he wants to take the country down, it's Martinez. You saw that in the speech in believe me,
in Dubai,
they know it's coming.
Yeah.
They know it's coming. Okay? So
what I want on Thursday for Mr. Ridrock to do, and I will challenge him on it, is to explain to us why Mimad was arrested in Dubai.
It's over the passport scandal, and he cannot leave the country, and that's what it is, you know.
And it appears like I showed the citizens tonight that he has a St. Lucian passport himself.
Of course, but I know that for a long time. Listen, there are things that I can tell you and things that I cannot tell you. Right now, I take your call because I'm only responding to the absurd comment of Hilaire in the press. I mean, this guy, every time you open him, it's very interesting that he said that the U.S. government doesn't know what they're doing right now. We don't know. It was very interesting to hear that. Believe me, the U.S. government knows exactly what's going on. All right?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for taking my call, Mr.
You're welcome.
Martinez. Thank you so much. Okay, my friends and Lucians, people of the Caribbean region. Whew. Let's just go back.
No, for us as citizens. No, I mean, I know the Prime Minister went to the EU last year, and they had no issue with us, and we will again go and visit them, like a diplomatic visit, just to make sure there are no issues in St. Lucia. And we have a very robust and rigid due diligence process at the CIP, so we have no reason to be worried about it. What we have said to the EU...
Well, I don't understand how we are playing this down. A serious situation like this, our government continues to play as though nothing is going on. We have the best CIP in the world, and we're good. You know, we will go and talk to them as though they're in negotiation mood right now, and it is not a bill that has made its way out of certain stages and is now at the end. I don't understand what the discussion will be with the EU concerning their concerns with the CIP program. I really don't understand. I'm a little confused that we are saying, well, we have nothing to be concerned about. What do you mean? Do you not understand, Mr. Government, the times that we're in? You have the European Union on your back. You have the United States on your back. And you are saying that you sound like we should not be concerned. Everything is fine. We should just, yeah, man, we'll talk to them. Ain't nothing. We will talk to them. We'll go up there and we'll talk to them. And, yeah, but we good. Yeah, we have good due diligence. But there's a shoe that's about to drop in a couple of days. Maybe on this platform, but you're saying nothing to see. We're good. We're fine. Don't worry, the EU man. All other countries are scrambling, trying to figure out how they're going to deal. But our government is saying. But while they're saying this, Mr. Pear is meeting with the ECCB Connect group, a lawyer, some regulators coming in to help the government of St. Lucia position themselves to deal with the impact of what is to come. Now, this meeting, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting could have been done from day one. All what you see the government of St. Lucia they're doing now, they should have done that from the time the alarm bell was sounded earlier. You remember Mr. Martinez called them and said, look, I have some information, you might want to look at it. Oh, a fraudster, and this, and we knew his mother, his father, his cousin. We know everything about Mr. Martinez, and even Mr. Shasner, we knew everything at that time, except for our CIP, of course. Come and see what I have. Come and see what I have. We don't want to see nothing. Who you think you are? Who do you think you are? That's what we heard. And that's how it seems our governments in the region, well, not all governments in the region, but some of the governments in the region, it seems to me that's how they deal with important matters of the country. It is about your mother, your cousin, Sir John Compton, it is all about nastiness except dealing with the issue. The guys have distracted themselves fighting one man in the country. The same citizen that they're fighting, Mr. Chasney, here is another citizen in Dubai that don't look like them. But it's up there. And we're about to get more information on Thursday about that. But they have not dealt with serious matters the way they should. I want us to listen a little more and then I'll take your calls because I see the phone is just going wild over there.
Is that we want to have open dialogue and communication on the matter. So if there is just one instance, now again the EU have thresholds, it's not if it happened once they will ask you to do something. If it goes above a certain limit, because they have thresholds, and I can share all the documents with you so you can read it to see what it is. There's a certain threshold. If it starts happening above a certain frequency, then they will activate that mechanism. It's not like somebody came yesterday and they applied for citizenship, so it's not going to happen like that. There is a clear process. Like I said, we can share all the documents. I can give it to Melissa and she can share it with you. Sorry? No, not us. The legislation says, yeah, they give you, whether it's a year, they give you, whichever country. Because recently they withdrew from Vanuatu, visa-free access, and now they're discussing how to reinstate it to Vanuatu because they gave them a certain period within which they must take action and to make sure it doesn't cause a problem.
So we saw revoking of visa-free access to the UK for Trinidad recently. Is there any way that St. Lucia is related to that? I mean, are there any things that you can see similar in these two stories?
No, we have no reason. Again, up to January, we had deliberations with the EU, the US, the UK, and there have been no concerns expressed about St. Lucia.
Additionally, there's a question about the CIP program in general. Some people question whether or not we should have a program like that anyway, given the fact that citizenship is so valued by St. Lucians themselves, St. Lucians who were born in St. Lucia. What would you say to them?
Again, it's something which I've addressed before. There are people who for the program, there are people against the program. Right now, to become a citizen in St. Lucia, there are a number of ways you can become a citizen, a number of ways. One, by birth, you're born in St. Lucia. In some countries in the world, even if you're born in a country, it doesn't automatically give you citizenship. In the UK, for example, not because you're born in the UK, you automatically become a UK citizen. And in some countries, even if you're born there, your father must also be born there for you to become a citizen. So different countries have different laws. But in St. Lucia, once you're born in St. Lucia, you're a St. Lucian citizen. Regardless of whether your parents were here just for vacation, you become a St. Lucian citizen, which some people say must change. Secondly, naturalization. If you live in St. Lucia for a number of years, then you can become naturalized as a St. Lucian. And even that have limitations on it. Descent. If your parents were St. Lucian, you could inherit it. We've changed the laws now that if your grandparents were St. Lucians, you can also be a citizen. So it actually goes to 2 generations now, but before it was only 1 generation. The fourth one is marriage. And I ask you to check the law on marriage, as it relates to marriage, which says if a St. Lucian male marries a female from overseas, that person qualifies for citizenship. It's not automatic if a St. Lucian woman marries a man from overseas. It's not automatic. That's the law. But you could double check it. It's not automatic. But you can do marriage. Now, when that person marries a foreigner, there's no due diligence done on the person. There's no investigation done on that person. And then you have the new method, the new approach, which is CIP. If you make an investment in the country, you qualify for citizenship. So there are people that say, leave marriage, leave both, but don't have investment. So they have different views on it. Some people agree to it, some people disagree to it. And I respect all views on it. There are a lot of St. Lucians that have gone overseas to live in other countries and become citizens of those countries. And there are St. Lucians who feel that, if you're not even born in St. Lucia, you should never be the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, for example. There are St. Lucians who feel strongly about that. And only last week, a certain gentleman was on a program where he made a strong case that he feels if you know.
So you see where his sweet spot is. A jab at Mr. Chastney, but not dealing effectively with the challenge that are before him as the minister responsible for the CIP unit. And this is what have gotten us where we are today. This type of behavior. Alan Chastney, not born, white, and now we are at the end. I'm going to take a call. Caller, you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform. Go ahead.
Good evening, my brother.
Yes,
Great
sir.
show, man. I love the program. Very good program.
Thank you.
My brother, I was so happy you called Martinez and he spoke on that same press briefing Hiller is having there. But Garfield, Hiller is very, very deceitful. You look at the guy's demeanor when he's speaking. He refused to speak the truth to the people because he understands how the people think. Because he mentioned, we're talking about Europe and St. Lucia with the CIP, because the question was asked to him about St. Lucia maybe losing that visa-free access. And I can tell you, I sent you that actual link from the EU website. And my brother, there is so much there that the name of the prime minister didn't mention specifically, but it said the prime minister of St. Lucia on it. Okay, basically the prime minister of St. Lucia had gone to or spoken to them. It is on there. This is not me saying that. I sent you that document.
When did you?
On purpose. Sorry, I sent it maybe like 30 minutes or 20 minutes ago, somewhere around there. Because what Hile is not telling the people and lying to the people, and Hile is telling, this is the press conference Hile is having there. This is for the people, to get accurate information. But Hile is refusing to give accurate information. So, for example, he was asked about the passport and who the people having those passports. And he completely spin it around and say, oh, well, we are the only country that allow people to even if they're not born by St. Lucians in St. Lucia, they automatically become citizens. But Brother Garfield, the Europe may have a law, but the law is not far from ours, Because the same people that he's talking about, when the kids are born there, and I heard he mention it, you can hear he mention the word by naturalization, right? Now, he may mention that word, but how many people understand naturalization, right? Now, even if when your kid is born in Europe and then they may not be a citizen automatically, they can still become citizens by applying to become citizens. And they have all documents that they were born there, and they would be citizens most of the time. Well, I don't know much of cases where they don't become citizens. I am not aware of that, so I'm not going to go into that.
That's right.
But where I have the issue, Brother Garfield, Hile is talking like he doesn't, he's speaking like one of the guys on the outside. He's not okuwa with nothing. He's like just throwing things out there and saying, well, if it were to happen, or if it happened, but it's already happening. The guys went to the chambers and voted on it already, and now it's going to move to the second phase. So what are you talking about? What is he trying to tell the people? This is misleading the people on the highest level, Brother Garfield.
Yeah.
You understand? And if our prime minister, not if, because our prime minister, like I said, our country's name was mentioned by saying the prime minister of St. Lucia. This is not me saying this, Brother Garfield. It is there in the document. Okay? And if the prime minister of St. Lucia is mentioned, and Martinez is absolutely correct when he said that the main issue with the EU, it's not about guys just buying St. Lucian passports. The guys wouldn't care less if they sell 300 million passports out there. They wouldn't, but the fact that the guys are buying those passports to come into Europe and pose all sorts of security risk to their citizenry. It's not to our citizens, it's to theirs. And the money laundering, right? These are the things that they are really, focusing on. And based on what Hile is saying, if you watch Hile's demeanor, my brother, if you read the document as to how Europe is doing what they're doing, Martinez knows more than he's saying. Obviously, he knows more than, because he was the one who dealt with the investigation of those information. And the EU has the information that the US have. You can simply by reading what is there, these guys have it, because they would not take these actions, Brother Garfield, if those information was not shared to them.
Yeah.
And we need to be very careful in this country, brother. I think there is one of your caller, and he always calls on Newsbeat and on the other programs, and he always calls for shutdown of the country. And I'm never one to support this, but assessing all what is going on there with all the information that is coming out, I am going to call for Ile to be released from that ministry immediately, my brother.
Yeah, and thank you.
And I am also calling for an investigation into that matter being done by a separate entity, because people need to be held responsible and accountable, brother, for that money and the passports that are sold, and we cannot see anything happening.
Yeah,
in Canals, where's the hotel?
That's right. But I have some other calls coming in. I want to take as
Anyways,
much.
yes.
But I would not rush you off. Thank you so much for being.
No. You're welcome.
Yes.
That's okay. Okay.
All right. So we have more calls coming in. Let me just take them as they come. I do apologize. Okay. All right. So we have one here. Caribbean American News Media Platform. You're on the air.
Yes, Brother Garfield. Good night, Brother Garfield.
Yes,
thank you very much for taking my call.
Yes, greetings.
Brother Garfield, I could start by saying this. I listened to Lisa Jorai on Timothy Polio show recently, and I hope she's listening. This woman is a very delusional woman, and I believe all the members who are following the Philip JP are also delusional. Because let me tell you something, Brother Garfield. First of all, we have lost our bananas export to England. That's number one. That was the first blow we got on the international scale. Today we have lost. We're on the road to losing our visas for America. There are people who are already losing their green cards. I heard Guy Joseph said there was a young man who was working on the boat who lost his visa as well. The European Union is going to make us lose our visa as well. Now, my thing to you, Brother Garfield, is that we're in a situation where domestically, all functioning ministries has collapsed. All functioning agency has collapsed. And the entire country is in a state of anarchy. People do not know where to turn anymore, and people don't know what to do anymore. Now, I want to give a special shout out and a special good night to the people of Roseau. And the reason why I call on the people of Roseau, because the people of Roseau made a stand that can resonate throughout the island. And I'm calling on the opposition leader, which is Alan Shastney. You see, every time Alan Shastney goes in the house and they're making Alan Shastney ashamed and he has to walk out, we are tired of that. There is a people parliament on the streets he claimed that there is. We have the masses, we have the people to shut down this country and to force those guys to call an early election. By any means necessary, my brother. How can great men stand up and watch our country fall in the way it is falling on a rapid scale? To see prime ministers, Ernest Hilaire is coming on national TV and spitting in our face and lying to us and say that he cannot give us the information, and then he runs to Dubai and give Dubai all the information that he sold over 60,000 passports in 1 year. And we, the United Workers' Party, sold only 800 passports. Tell me who are we? Who are we? We are nothing to the St. Lucia Labour Party, and not just the St. Lucia Labour Party, excuse me, the Philip JP administration, because Kenny Anthony came in the House of Parliament and stated that $2 billion is not a guarantee that you have $2 billion cash, you know. It is just a project.
Okay, so we have a connection issue there. All right, we lost connection, folks. You're watching Caribbean American News. We're going to take a few more calls, and then we will have to regroup. All right. All right, caller, you back. Are you there, caller?
Yeah, good night.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I thought for a second that you wouldn't take my call at all, but in any case,
Yeah, the call
let me
was...
proceed and make it nice.
Yeah, a lot of calls, but go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. I've been listening to you guys for a while, beating around the bush. And, just like your last caller said, what is the demeanor? I've been looking at the demeanor on your face. And, like your leader, the opposition leader, it just seems like you're just...
Hold. Let me just get this clear. First of all, you said you saw us beating around the bush. Which bush, caller?
Yeah, but just...
What bush?
Allow me to make my statement.
No. You don't make statements and get away with it. What bush are we beating around? Tell me.
Yeah, but I'm speaking, so hear me out and then you can respond. I'm asking you
on this platform to tell me what bush we're beating around. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, because you were into Martinez just a while ago.
Yes, I did.
I can recall clearly a previous caller called and said that information is at the tip of your fingers, right?
That's right.
Martinez came back and he said that we invited you all to come take a look at the information.
Right.
So already this does not make any sense.
Why?
Then
Tell me.
The leader of the opposition went up, but your guy just said information is at the tip of your fingers, and your other guy is saying we invited you to come and take a look at the information.
And what's the problem?
Which does not make any sense. If it's at the tip of your fingers, why you have to go overseas to take? And then
you're kind of confusing me on a very important situation. You're confusing me. I want you to be much clearer, honestly. And I respect your call. Thank you for calling. But you're telling me you're telling me information on the tip of your finger. Martinez invited the government to come up to see the information that he has. The opposition went, and you're telling me
about CIP, right?
Right, yes. So what is the problem?
Yeah, but I'm discussing CIP, so why don't you help me? So
no, because I'm the host here. What is the problem? I need to know. Caller, tell me. What is the problem?
The problem is you guys just continue to talk without providing any evidence. That is the problem.
So we're still not providing evidence? There's no evidence at all with the issues in CIP?
Or should I say substantial evidence? Because you guys, okay, for example, let me out. You're saying that JPA is meeting.
Pardon me?
You saying to us and showing a clip that JPA is meeting with delegates of the ECCB in terms of helping St. Lucia regulate the CIP problems and all of that type of stuff. But you're showing us a clip where JPA is sitting in the office with two other folks, backs turned. We cannot identify who they are or whatever the case may be. So how is that evidence? That
okay,
is not
good.
Evidence.
Hold. Let me explain to you what you saw. And if you have a problem with the picture, you go to Philip JP and tell him to turn his face and turn the people's face. I am saying to you, with the clip that I posted, and I'm going to post it again, is that these are individuals from the ECCB regulatory commission that was put in place by the regional government to help with streamlining the CIP program. Some of them are experienced lawyers. They're here in his office discussing with him the way forward. They're going to be here until the 3rd of this month. So tell me, what is your problem? What is your concern?
My concern is you guys are just saying stuff. Exactly. You're showing the photo there and it doesn't say anything. What can one derive from this photo?
I just told you what it is. And if you have a problem with it, you go to the Prime Minister's, the government's website, and then you will see. So I don't know what is the problem. We're dealing with a major matter and you're concerned about people's face on a picture? I don't understand what you're talking. What's your problem? What's the problem? That's what I'm trying to find out. What is the problem, caller? All I'm hearing is you guys. You ain't said nothing to me as yet, caller. Honestly, with due respect to you, you have said nothing to me. And that is a problem in the whole CIP discussion. You guys are saying nothing. You're there, caller? I didn't cut you off. You disappeared. Because all you're telling me is you guys, picture, the back. I don't understand what's your point. You also said, we said information at your fingertip, and Martinez invite the government to see evidence that they have. Opposition, up to now I don't understand where you're going, where you're coming from. Honestly, you're trying to malmanage the people, Sevel. You're trying to confuse me. I personally am on my last fuse because I'm tired. And you just not saying nothing, and I gave you the opportunity to call. You can call back and clarify because you not saying nothing but you guys. I don't know what you're talking about. Jeez, can we just have a decent conversation, a clear conversation? Can we discuss the real issues with our CIP and how we can better it? Can we discuss the problems? And can we provide solutions as citizens? Can we not have a discussion with some of you Labour people, some serious discussions, rather than Chasney and you guys? When will we... Brethren, do you understand what is happening in your country? Do you understand what is happening in the world at this time? Do you understand that this is a different world order that we're in, a new world order? Do you understand that the Caribbean, the nations in the region, in the Caribbean region, they are under pressure? Do you not understand that their backs are against the wall? The United States is before them and Europe is behind them? Do you not understand that this can lead to some serious problems for human beings? Do you not understand that we also have a financial and a shipping issue on the horizon? And all you can tell me is you guys fingertip, picture backward. I didn't put picture on the internet. Jeez. Oh. But as the world turns, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes. You see when I told you why SLP people are delusional, brother? Take an example, brother, for the TIP program. We have billions of dollars missing today in China, wherever it is. Right? Today, Philip JPS said, Lisa Joari said, oh, the government is doing so well. Where's the hospital after 4 years? Where's the airport after 4 years? Why England has stopped our bananas? Kenny Anthony said to the Minister of Agriculture that he's killed agriculture. Look at the state of, Kenny Anthony told him that, look at the state of the situation down in before that complex. You understand?
Yeah.
Nothing is working on no fronts, my brother. And we keep on speaking, we keep on talking, we keep on holding town hall meeting, we keep on holding town hall meeting after town hall meeting. Our country is collapsing right before our very eyes. Soon, Brother Garfield, whether you are a citizen of America, you're not even safe. They can just take your green card or your black card and send you back.
Well, I don't have any of those cards, but you're right. Nobody is safe anyway.
So, my brother, we had a situation, we had a crossroads in the history of our country that if we do not stand up for something, our country will collapse and we will not have a country for the future generations, my brother. Because the SLP and Ernest Healy has crashed our country and killed our country flat down, flat at there. The United Workers' Party must lead the charge. The Roseau people showed us that it is simple to block the roads and take to the streets, bring our sleeping bags. Let us fight for something because we have lost everything, brother. We have lost our bananas to import to England. Our visa. You know, there's airlines that stop coming to St. Lucia right now. You understand that, right?
I'm trying to confirm that, caller. But if you can wrap up, I have some calls that are coming in hot on my heel.
Well, okay. Well, my thing is, Brother Garfield, it's time for us to take the streets. Have a blessed night.
You too. Thank you. Caller, you're on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform. We're going to take a few more calls. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening.
Good evening, my friend. How are you?
I am getting there, recovering from the flu.
Yeah, it's hitting everybody.
Garfield, you see the ignorance of some of the people in this country? You realize how ignorant our people are? Ignorant and stupid. Ignorant and stupid. They have all the truth on their side. God has shown you all the truth daily. Every day I am telling you all that. And for us to be at this turning point in the country, and for a St. Lucian to call a talk show and say, you guys have no evidence or you guys have no proof. The country, St. Lucia has sunk already, you know, Garfield. We think already what that caller is waiting for, to see the smoke and the ashes fly up in the air like a volcano when it erupts. After Mr. Martinez made that call, that caller should be ashamed to pick up the telephone and try to address you on what is going on in St. Lucia Day.
You have not said anything to me, but you guys and Finger. And
you guys.
I don't even know what he's talking about. Back of picture.
And that's it when I keep on telling you all.
This is not a Cartoon Network. It's not Cartoon Network we operate in here. It's serious business.
This is not about politics anymore in St. Lucia. It's not. I have been saying that from day one. But these are the people that are hell-bent on playing the political game with Philip Pierre and the Labour Party. And he should be ashamed. This guy should be ashamed. You know what is happening to our people there right now, Garfield?
Talk to me.
We have students that are in the universities overseas. Whether it be in the US or the EU, wherever they are. And the student visas has expired. And some of them are in St. Lucia there right now. Applying to get those visas renewed. And you know the embassy turned how many of these children visas, the student visas, down?
I didn't know.
And they have not finished their studies as yet, Garfield. And it's not because of Trump and his policies. It's because of the underselling of our passports and the money laundering that have been taking place with the U.S. currency in St. Lucia. Because they have warned them. Not today, Mr. Shasty have been talking to Ernest Hillel and Philip Pierre. The gentleman is telling you that he doesn't need the politics. But the way you all are running the country, you all are running it the wrong way. A bunch of corrupt ministers. That is why God allowed them to steal the election and boast themselves and criticize Mr. Shasty and call him all names. Have the people mind astray from what is happening in the country, the bigger picture. And they are on NBC, cursing, insulting, doing all sorts of nonsense, trying to fool the people, and all the time they are in bed with corruption, and Hillel knows what he's doing, because all what Hillel is doing there, he went to Dominica and sat with Roosevelt Skerritt, planned it in Dominica, and he came and he injected in our economy. But he didn't know they were watching him. He didn't know the international bodies were watching him. And more they warn him, is more he pushing and more he lying. He put a nail in his coffin. In that last video they put out there of him spilling his guts in Dubai to the rich folks, his friends, the oligarchs, the Syrians, the Chinese mafias. They got him. That's all the U.S. people wanted. They had the evidence. They had everything, but all what they wanted, he gave it to them. He gave it to them in that tape. And he is still lying. He is still... Oh, my... What is wrong with our people? Is St. Lucia willing to let their country go down to the bottomless pit and protect the Labour Party? Couple, I tell you, they have students in St. Lucia that crying their head on the pillow and they don't know what to do. I have proof of it cases, I know, but the parents now, they're so, they don't know where to put themselves, the parents themselves, because money wasted go down the drain. Ernest and Philippia doesn't care about that. Do they care about that? The children are literally crying because they cannot get that visa to go and finish their studies. And the parents' money is now in hot water. Regardless, some of them probably got scholarship, but there are those their parents paid the money, mortgage their homes. And today they cannot get a visa renewed to go back and finish their studies because of Philip Pierre allowing Ernest Hille to go through with that level of corruption with these big countries that we cannot stand up to. Who is St. Lucia to stand up tete-a-tete with these people? And that guy is calling them, telling people about their lying and they need what more evidence does the Labour Party supporters need to see that Ernest Hille has screwed up with Philip Pierre, sold all our assets? That is what they were saying in opposition. Mr. Chasney sold this, he sold that. They lied to you all. And they came inside there, the same thing they told you all. They are doing it out like it's a wildfire. The corruption, the selling of our assets right in front of your faces. And you're still trying to make excuses for them. But don't worry. Wait. It looks like it's when they put the orange jumpsuit on you will say, what? Well, they will put them, because after that call Martinez gave you there, it looked like the orange jumpsuit will come on them. Have a good night.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Okay, I have a voice note from the gentleman that I would like to play. The one who just called to say you all. Let's just say it publicly for a minute, and then we'll end the show.
What is happening with our people here now is the best performance in St. Lucia, history making in performance in St. Lucia, in almost every facet of St. Lucia. The lowest unemployment rate ever recorded in history in St. Lucia.
So you see what he wants to give he wants to give a progress report instead of dealing with the issue. And while I respect him wanting to give his progress report, we are not taking progress report right now. We are dealing with the CIP situation. We're not looking at progress report now. You guys said that this is the year of what? Of accountability. We are asking you in your year of accountability to account. But instead of you accounting, you are telling us some other stories that we're not asking you about. Of course, right now what we're asking you is transparency and accountability in the CIP program. And I'll tell you this, folks. This situation, I always said it from day one, we could have had conversations. Mr. Martinez should not have looked at him as the enemy of the state. They should not have done that. But they took it and they tried to use it as a beaten tool. And they end up pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. They push it to a RICO suit. They push it. The guy realized, okay, you guys want to play games with your legal sophistication. Okay, I'm withdrawing the RICO suit, but I am heading straight to Washington. That is what happened, you know. They were rejoicing. They were excited. No more RICO suit, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Alan Chasney joined with a fraudster and blah, 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 blah. Guess what? While they are blabbering and blabbering and blabbering, the situation is escalating. They're getting people angry. It's escalating. It's escalating. It's escalating. And it's escalated to where we are now. Now you have the ECCB people coming in to help, basically, for a few days, for 3 days, I think. Now everybody's like, well, we'll go to Europe and talk to them. We'll talk to them. It's not anything. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll deal. But we could have avoided all these useless drama. We should not have even known much in the public as yet. You guys had the opportunity to privately have engagement. Claude Emmanuel went. Huh? Claude Emmanuel went. You guys could have continued. By the way, we did not even know Claude Emmanuel went until later on. When a statement came out from you, your government tried to do damage control, and instead they damaged the control that they were trying to do. So it was damage upon damage upon damage upon damage. And they celebrated believing that there's some victory somewhere. There ain't no victory in the CIP situation. There was never a victory in CIP, because these marketing guys overseas were the ones walking away with the billions of dollars. The crumbs were staying in the country. So there was no silver lining as far as I'm concerned in CIP, except for those fellas. And all the people were saying, man, let's fix this. Let's do better here. Let's ensure that more remains with the people. And it's okay. That the guys need to be paid and everything compensated. But you would think that the government would have learned enough over the years and try to pull the ship together, where you pull it from all them big fellas up there and you pull it back to the country. I'm sure there are local individuals who are smart in the countries, whether it's St. Lucia or St. Kitts, who could have put together marketing companies and put together, little groups that can sell the passports, following the protocols, adhering to international requirements and standards, and more of that money remaining in your country. So there was always a problem with CIP. And it got worse. Because there is no hotel in St. Kitts. There is a prison issue up there. And now in St. Lucia, you have a hotel that's supposed to be going up, that all these files that Hila is saying that was given to them fellas. Where's the hotel? Where's the money? Where is it? The BMAX deal, where is it? How many passports was given to them? Where is it? And we supposed to sit here and listen to a progress report in the year of accountability. You call the year of accountability. We decide that we are going to help you in your year of accountability, and you're complaining, telling us about unemployment and the country is better than it has ever been, and all these stories. How can the country be in a better position than it has ever been, and you want to run to Europe, and you're bringing in the ECCB? Huh? And you have the United States at your back, and you have Europe in your front. How are we better off? When everybody is afraid of travel restrictions and tariffs, the world is never where it was before. The world is in crisis. Do you understand that? That we are in a new dispensation? So there's no room for boasting. This is time for heads together. Well, opposition and government, heads together in building the resistance, resilience that is needed. At the same time, having equity in the land. Huh? And you're telling me that I'm supposed to be listening to your progress report? I am asking you to account. I don't want that type of progress report. As far as I'm concerned, I want to know what you are doing in order to fix the international crisis that we have. That's what I need to know. Huh? That's what I need to know. So I'm going to start pulling in some calls. I'm going to take some calls, 2 more calls, and then we're off. because I have some stuff that I need to review, and I have an emergency somewhere. I just saw that I got to respond to. Okay, good. I thought this person. All right, so let me just do our final call here. Caller, you on the air. You're our final call for the night. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good night, Brother Garfield. Fantastic program. Brother Garfield, good night to everyone on your platform as well. I'm going to try and make this as short as possible because you're closing.
Thank you.
Brother Garfield, we the St. Lucian people have now to understand what we are dealing with. We are dealing with a set of men and women, a greedy set of men and women, may I add, sitting in our parliament who have formed a government and who are claiming to govern St. Lucia. Rather than governing St. Lucia and taking care of the St. Lucian people, these men and women have increased taxes on us in every way possible. They have failed to meet the mere needs of the St. Lucian people, including healthcare and good roads and a good cost of living where people can afford food and to create jobs, etc. for people. They have put us in bondage where we can't even live from day to day and know what's going to happen tomorrow in terms of the amount of money we make and the amount that we spend. They've also created for us, because of their greed, through the sales of passport, the monies that we have no idea what has happened to. They have created for us in the international world something beyond, possibly beyond repair, in that we, the populace of St. Lucia, are the ones who will feel the pinch. Ourselves and our children are the ones who are going to feel the pinch through the embargoes, whether it be through revocation of visas or non-issuance of visas, or visa requirements going into countries that we never we needed visas for. Whether it be that our students can no longer go back to school in the US and in the EU, in Europe and in the UK because of non-renewal of visas. And we have a bunch of people who have sold our St. Lucia, including our ports that were income-generating ports, Castries and Soufrière. We have a bunch of men and women. There is proof out there of where the CIP money has been spent. There is proof where they have put the St. Lucian people's money and patrimony. And we sit here and we try to defend that. And that's especially for the caller who called earlier. We try to defend a failed government. We try to defend a government who has brought pain upon pain on the backs of St. Lucians. I call on our St. Lucian people. There's a young man who's always calling for us to shut down the country. I agree with him. There's certain things that can be done without breaking, burning, flashing, and causing any kind of chaos. There is organized chaos, quiet organized chaos that can be done so that our voices can be heard. Besides that, I call on our St. Lucian people. I call on you, one by one, that we as a people, our last resort, and I believe that's our last resort, is that we write a petition and sign it, the entire 180,000 of us. And we forward that to the EU, the UK, and the US and Canada. Because Canada is going to come for us soon. We forward that to them, explaining that we're not the ones who caused this chaos. That it was a handful of men, and greedy men and women, and that we should not be the ones to pay for it. Besides that, I call on our men and women to ask this government to announce an election so we can go to the polls and we can get every one of them out of our parliament as soon as possible. I call on our men and women of St. Lucia to stand up and speak out and make it clear to the Philip J.P. administration that we are no longer going to settle for the garbage that they've created for us because of their greed, because it is all greed. And that we demand to know, we demand transparency and accountability from right now, from this moment. And if we cannot get that, like the young man says, we will do organized chaos and shut this country down. I thank you so much, Brother Garfield, for giving me a voice.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I have two things to do before we go, folks. I'm going to share with you something from BMAX, and I am going to read something from the gentleman who called me the SLP supporter. And I want you to listen to this trend. And I'm deliberately reading it so that you could understand the mindset, friends. And I'm going to make some corrections to his way of thinking while I'm at it. Listen, I quote from him. All right? He says, "Don't let God put his hands on you. Play the voice note throughout." Okay? Listen to the other statement. "Garfield, God is going to put you in a place you might regret, boy." I read on. "You should know better." I continue to quote. And now, this is the SLP gentleman who called earlier. "A country the World Bank, IMF, ECCB, and all big organizations is praising for economic development and progress. CIP under your Shas St. Lucia never saw a penny out of it. The Chinese man had the account overseas." So let me just, right now I have half of a brain cell to deal with this matter, and I'll deal with it with the half brain cell. First of all, God is not mocked, and he is not man. 1. 2, you're not God. And 3, you got to reverence this name. You don't just pull it, and God is not man that he would do me things because I'm sitting here dealing with issues that impact human beings. God is not man, sir. And I would believe that you go onto some of those live programs that represents the kingdom of darkness, the nastiness, the words, the insults, the disrespect, the unrighteousness. Yeah? You go into these live and you praise them, and because they say to you that the country is good, ECCB, and the government is the best, and they have read on them, God don't deal with them, but he deals with me, because I'm sitting here asking or requesting, asking the pertinent questions and hoping for the right answers. And you just pull a God in me, and I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but if it's your God, the one that you believe will do something to me, and you just tell him He's not in my party. He don't support my government. Do something to him. Your understanding of a loving Heavenly Father is messed up, and I want you to be careful. That's just a warning to you. 2, I am not your boy. No, I'm not anybody's boy. I've never been and will never be anybody's boy. A matter of fact, my father don't call me boy. My mother don't call me boy. My daughter don't call me boy. A lot of people of class and respect and with some civility in them that I associate with don't call me boy. And as a matter of fact, even some of the challenged children in our schools, they call me sir or mister. You are disrespectful. You are what we are protesting against in our culture. And I'm not going to be here to send you to hell. That's not my role. But I will say to you that you'll want to spend some quiet time thinking about your communication with me. Yeah? And I would not call you a boy. I would not call you a boy. But I would say to you going forward, learn to respect others, even though they don't agree with you or they're not supporting your church or your party or your club. Go along and respect people. Respect people. We will have difference of opinion. But what you cannot do is to try to disrespect me and call me a boy and at the same time call God's name in vain. Very bad recipe. And I'm going to ask you to think about your actions. I'm going to ask you to think deeply about your actions. May God have mercy on you, sir. Peace and grace unto you. Okay. Let's just play this clip quickly, folks. And I'm not going to just move on with this nastiness. You got to pull these things up ever so often, lest they take root in your society and your children start going around calling people boy. And we see how they deal with Shasta. They think he's a boy, he's a dog, he's a this, and that's how they deal with human beings. And if you're a civilized human being in a civilized society, we don't do that anymore in the world. That we eradicate ignorance, I believe, in some parts of the world. And we brought dignity, class, and respect. So maybe you need to Google and get some while you're at it. But let's go forward, folks. But don't pull God in your nonsense. God is not mocked. He's not man, and he should not be mocked. His name should not be taken in vain. As you see me on this platform, I don't pull God into my discourse on these platforms. I'm very reverent when it comes to that. My religion, my Christianity, my faith in God, I'm very protective of it. Very protective of it. So when I have my platform here, my business here, and I speak, as a freelance guy here on the issues that impact society, I don't mix it. I don't mix, folks. I have things that are dedicated to the glory of God and things that I've put aside to do certain tasks. Both time and days are alerted to my faith and also what I do here. This is time that I put aside for this social discussion that we have in here. And I don't mix it. Period. All right? So I think you should know your place and have some manners, some brought-up-see. Okay, let's go over to Mr. Pay and B-Max.
A surprising revelation at his year-end media conference on Wednesday, December 18th, 2024, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre announced the suspension of the B-Max housing project, which was scheduled to begin on February 1st, 2024.
What stopped the work was our adherence to principle and policy. We will not continue unless we have planning approval. That's how this government behaves. That's how we act.
It should have started since February of this year, however.
No, wrong. Very wrong. Anyhow, that's when the discussion.
It's stated in the contract.
Which contract?
The contract with BMAX.
That has been suspended. You didn't know?
Well, the contract has been suspended.
Yeah, you're not following the news. Long time.
When asked why the contract was halted, the Prime Minister offered a brief response.
Because the government decided that because of the discussion happening, that we would stop the contract. That's a long time ago. This is still news.
Well, that's news to me.
Well, let's continue with your question. It has been suspended.
Oh, and so you are actively seeking a new. You are actively seeking a new investor. You've secured a new investor,
the government,
a new developer.
The housing project in Rockall is continuing.
As a CIP project.
It's continuing.
As a CIP project.
It's continuing.
Pressed for further clarification, he remained reserved, providing limited additional information.
What's the detail is when the people begin to live in the houses. That's a detail.
The suspension comes amid months of growing speculation. On October 9th, 2024, reports emerged linking the BMAX housing project to controversial financial resources. The project was part of the government's effort to expand St. Lucia's housing stock under the Citizenship by Investment Program. BMAX LLC, a company registered in St. Lucia, signed an agreement with the government on November 3, 2023. Under the CIP Infrastructure Initiative, the project aimed to construct a housing complex in Rockall Castries, which was to include 66 residential apartments, 14 commercial units, and a recreational space. BMAX LLC was responsible for the project's design, financing, and construction. The contract outlined a construction budget of $23 million and an additional $2,225,000 for construction management. The ambitious project was divided into 3 phases. Phase 1 was scheduled to begin on February 1st, 2024. Phase 2 was planned for July 1st, 2024, and Phase 3 was set for November 1st, 2024, with overall completion expected by June 1st, 2025. The Prime Minister, however, admitted that work on the project is currently continuing.
It's continuing now. Work is happening.
The overall suspension raises concerns about the project's viability and the future direction of the CIP. Chloe Dantes, NBC Prime.
Okay, folks, so that's the report, and that's why I leave you. It was a pleasure being here with you on Caribbean American News Media Platform. We look forward to our program on what did I say? On Thursday, Mr. Redrock is going to be with us, and it's going to be much hotter than tonight, I'm sure. There's going to be a lot of discussion. I am reviewing some documents, some information that is presently with me, and I just ask you to continue to be strong. Let's have respect for each other. Let's remember that righteousness always exalt the nation. Amen. So, folks, go out there, be your best, have a beautiful night. Remember to pray before you go to bed, folks. And thank you so much for the calls, the support, the prayer, the encouragement. And so I got to go. Tomorrow is a special celebration for people like me at the school, and so it's a big surprise, and I have some other stuff to do tonight before I call it in. All right, so folks, be good, all right, and let's continue to look at the information that is out there, and let's try to be as fair as we can in the process. All right, folks, love you all the best.